Okay, so we're going to be talking about some basic statistics. This is stuff you're supposed to already know that you've probably forgotten because you haven't used it in a long time. And so what we're first going to do is define the words and then find them. So we have data set, which is a set of numbers. And usually it represents the data from an experiment or from an observation or from a survey. So it's a set of numbers that came from some sort of, that we gathered. So this data set represents some quiz scores from a student throughout the course of a week. So here we have these states. So now here we're going to do an example. And this is going to be our example, but because it helps for a lot of the data that statistics we have to do for the example to be in order, I'm going to write it down in order. So my smallest number is 70, and I have 1, 2, 3 of those. My next number is 75. There's only one of those. Next number is 80. There's also only one of those. Next number is 85. There's only one of those. Then I have 2 90s. 2 95s, and 100. And so I should have 11 date numbers here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And so I've written down my data set correctly. So that's that. Moving on, we have our mean, our median, and our mode. So first we're going to define them. The mean is the average. And you find that by adding all the numbers. And divide by what you have. Total count. For the median, it's the number in the middle when the data is in order. And the mode is the one that occurs the most. Value the mode is the easiest to find. In this data set, our mode is 70 because there's 3 of those and nothing else shows up 3 times, so 70 because we just look at the list. So which one showed up the most? Okay, it was 70. The median is the one in the middle, assuming the numbers are in order. So these numbers are in order, which we put in order in the last one. So we've got 11 numbers. The middle number is 5 from each end. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 from each end. There's the median. Okay, and again, this is most, or mode. Okay. Then we have the mean, and the mean is the most complicated. We have to add up all our numbers, which we, of course, would do on a calculator. And so I'm using a handheld calculator instead of one you can see. Sorry about that. 70 plus 70 plus 70 plus 75 plus 80 plus 85 plus 90 plus 90 plus 95 plus 95 plus 100. And my number is 920 divided by 11, which will give me a decimal of 83.636363 repeating. So it's 6363 forever. And so since that's repeating, I'll just do 2 and then write the repeat sign. And so there we are. That's our median, our mean, our median, and our mode. The mean is the mean one because it makes you do the most math. And that's those. So far, pretty straightforward. Then we have the 5-number summary. The 5-number summary consists of the following 5 numbers. The max. Actually, let's go in order. The min, the quartile 1, the median, the quartile 3, and the max. So those are the 5 numbers in the summary. The min is easy. The min is 70. The max is 100. And the median we found on our previous page. The previous page was 85. So the median goes here in the middle. So we have 3 of our 5 numbers. Now we need to find the other 2. So we found our median, and since it was exactly in the middle, to find our quartiles, we do the same work on the 2 halves of the data. When our median consists of 2 numbers, we have to average that number, the 2 numbers we add together get included in the 2 halves. The median has to be in the middle. This median is there, so it's the middle and half, whatever. So our quartile 1 is 70, as it's the number in the middle of the bottom half of the data. Quartile 2 is 95 because it's the number in the middle of the top half of the data. So that's that. Now, the 2 hard things we're going to talk about today are box plots and histograms, which is on the back of your paper. The box plot is something we have to draw, and it contains the 5-number summary. So it's a picture of the 5-number summary. Now, our data is not awesome because our quartile 1 and minimum are the same, so that skews our picture a little bit, but we'll do our best. So I'm going to make this my number line, and so this is going to be 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, and 100. And so I put a dot at my max and a dot at my min, a line at my quartiles, 1, median, 2, and then a line at Q3. So that's not supposed to be the same place as the dot. This time it is. That's okay. And so then I drew a box through my lines, and then I connect my dots with little lines, which we call whiskers. Box plots are also called box whisker plots. So that is our box plot. It's very fun. Yeah, it's not going anywhere. So that's that. That's your box plot. And again, we'll talk more about this. This is all stuff you're supposed to sort of know, and you've probably forgotten. That's okay too. Next, we have our histogram. Now, histograms are a little weird, but basically they're bar graphs. So they look like bar graphs. The difference is that they're only for numerical data, and each rectangle represents an interval. Or we call those bins. Okay, so this is a little tricky, but first we need to do a count. So we need to, one decides how wide we want our bins to be. So we're going to let our bins be 10. So our bins are going to go from 70 to 80, and then from 80 to 90, and then from 90 to 100. Now here's the hard part. Where does 90 go? And so this particular data, we only have kind of endpoint stuff. And so 70 is going to go in this one, but 80 is going to go over here. So as the endpoint goes in the bin above. And that can be a little tricky. But we have 4 numbers in this bin, and 2 numbers in that bin, and then 5 numbers in this bin. And so our histogram will draw a picture. And we don't really start at the origin, so that part's not important. But we have from 70, 85, 80, 95, 90, 95. Whoops. Wow, look at me counting really badly. Apologize for that. Let's start over. 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100. And so my bin will go from 70 to 80, and it will be 4 high. And then my bin will go from 80 to 90, and it'll be 2 high. And then my bin will go from 90 to 100, and it'll be 5 high. And that's all you're doing. That's pretty much it. And so, again, the endpoints get included in the one above. If that makes sense. So it's really tricky. That's probably the hardest part of a histogram. So that's that. So then you have to remember all these things. Well, you don't. And it's not critical that you do, because when I need to create these things, unless I'm teaching, I use a computer. So I've set up for you a link for your homework help, but I wanted you to watch the video to find it. So it is bit.ly /PSI for my name, stats. Let's see. Try to remember what it is. Stats, yep, there it is. Stats dot, and then decimals. So if you type that in to your computer and look at it, so that's the link to homework help for your homework worksheet. So go ahead and type it into your computer, and then what will pull up is this worksheet. And so it says type data sets into the table. And so on your homework, the one I've done here is problem number 1. So that's, and notice how I've only typed it in for x1. We actually don't want to type anything for y1. So for each problem, you're going to remove the x1 data and replace it. Then here it tells me how much it added up to. So if I needed to, I could just take that number and divide by how many there were to find the mean. But I also just type mean, and that's the mean. So it just did it for me. Then I type stats x1 and see how it gives me the minimum, the quartile 1, the median, third quartile, and the max. Next, I have the standard deviation, which I didn't even ask for, but look, there it is. Then I have the histogram, and see how it's drawn it down here. And I have my bin width set at 5, so like if you wanted your bin width to be smaller, you could set your bin width to be smaller. And so then when you look at it, sorry for the zooming annoyance, but now my bin width is skinnier. I can set my bin width back to 5, or whatever makes the most sense for the problem. So that's kind of cool. I don't have to really know. I can just tell it, hey, give me a bin width of 10. Okay. And so then also above here I have a box plot. And so it's drawn the box plot for me. And so I can change my height. Right now I have my height set at 1. Maybe I want my height to be 3 so I can see it better. Whatever works for you. And so that's the idea of what you're going to be trying to do. And so you can, all you need to do to complete your homework, and there's more here than what it asks for. The only one it can't do is mode. But the mode is the easiest. You just figure out which one is there the most, and then you're done. So the only one it won't do for you is mode. Everything else is here. So good luck to you. I hope that this is helpful. And your worksheet should be really simple. Just make sure you get the right information transferred from the computer onto your paper. Thanks so much, and I will see you guys in class tomorrow.